Hello there, sir.
Hi.
How are you, Kevin?
Hey, you're doing well.
So listen, before we get into what I want to ask you, why don't you talk about yourself a little bit, introduce yourself to the people listening in.
Kevin Permenter, Research Director at IDC. My coverage area is financial applications. So that's everything from like your small business accounting apps on to the big financial suites like Oracle and SAP, and then into the point solution areas like accounts payable, accounts receivable, tax, treasury, expense.
So you literally cover everything I don't completely understand at all. Right.
It's all the boring accounting stuff.
No, it's actually so important though, but I
Very
really
important stuff now.
don't understand. My father was an accountant, and I still don't understand it well.
Yeah, well, neither do I. I took a lot of classes. And I'm still struggling with it too.
From what I hear, you're damn good at it. So all right. So let's look at this. Don't worry too much about the app speech per se. We'll get to that. Talk a little more about given you've been here. I guess you've been here now the full 2-3 days, and 3 days. What's your thinking on where Oracle's been in, let's say, last time around 2019 to now?
Yeah.
What have you seen, good and bad, in terms of their evolution?
So the good part, I think they have a much more cohesive and believable and sort of robust story around the end-to-end solution. The idea that the new OCI pairs with the apps platform, pairs with the actual applications on the platform. All of that stuff now is a much tighter story. There's more heft to it in terms of investment. Millions of dollars have gone into flushing out that story and having the end users really be impacted by that sort of end-to-end aspect. So Steve's up there right now and he's talking about some of the use cases around that kind of thing. And I think now, as opposed to 2019, you see a lot of it in practice. A lot of it is here now. And we had some customer discussions, and they're starting to see some of the benefits of this sort of togetherness in actual practice.
Okay, well actually it's something you can help me with now that I think of it. So when early when Steve began, he was talking about with JP Morgan, and JP Morgan guy mentioned that they deal with 10 trillion transactions a year, and I can't get my head around that at all. I literally have no way to conceptualize that I can understand in any fashion. How do you even think about that level of transactional activity?
It is rarefied air, right? There are just not many organizations that have to deal with that level of activity. And just think about, there's that level of activity, but think of all the multi aspects underneath it. So multi-language, multi-currency, multi-country, right? Multi-entity, more than one entity in an organization may be, doing some transactions. So when you start thinking about the complexity here, it really sort of narrows the race to, folks like Oracle, maybe 2 or 3 others that have the sort of heft.
Who else would you call the 2 or 3 others in that manner?
SAP has for a long time been involved in some really complex areas. And then you get into sort of the, on the HCM side, for example, Workday has long been part of some very complex, very meaty sort of environments. Those are sort of the players now that are sort of hovering around these sort of complex implementations, and those are typically when you come down to it, three out of like you go down to your last 3, it's probably those names that you'll see most often.
That's amazing.
Unless you get into some of the the specialty industries, and then you see other names pop in because they have some in-depth specialization kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean I see that more around rather than, let's say, accounting or financial or banking. I see them more around you get to some of these players, although they're not typically the scale level, wealth management, things like that, right? Which have specialty applications. There's even a company out of Canada called NextJ, which is came in as wealth management CRM.
Yeah, how about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure how that actually
one of the
even
things
works.
I've been really sort of lucky to be exposed to is there's so many really interesting niches where you run into a situation like, I'm a Florida guy, we talk about oranges. Well, if you're an orange farmer, the same orange might go into juice. It might go into, as is into the market, or it may end up in a candle as some sort of
that's
fragrance or essence
Yeah.
or whatever. It may end up in some sort of perfume. So the same tree may have oranges that end up in 15 different products. And you start talking about the accounting aspect of those sorts of things, it really does start to get complex.
I again,
Yeah.
well beyond my brain.
Yeah, and there's one more that's really interesting: the horse breeding world, because horses themselves can be considered as when it comes to accounting, they can be considered corporations. So people buy shares of a
Right, of
racehorse,
racehorses.
because
That's
it's
right.
who's going to buy an entire one, right?
Right.
So it's really some of these organizations like Oracle and some of the other ones, they're really presented with some really interesting challenges.
All right, so if you right now are looking at Oracle and
Yeah.
everything we've seen, and you're looking at let's say your entire history with Oracle,
Yeah.
what advice are you giving Oracle to improve? What do they got to do?
I don't think Oracle has an issue with its product necessarily. The depth and breadth of functionality, I think, isn't necessarily the issue. I think the issue comes in sort of how to balance the story that's being told around this product, and saying, okay, we have a hardware infrastructure story, we've got an app platform story, we have a specialty app story, both ERP and HCM and all this stuff. How do you sort of educate the market on the benefits and the synergies that are available when they themselves are learning about some of the synergies, on the fly? Many of their customers are taking, sort of the infrastructure, the OCI infrastructure, and some of the, the app building tools that they have, and they're coming up with new ways to recombine, and sort of, go around certain specific use cases. So it's a difficult story for them to tell.
Okay.
They've been getting better over time, but I do think ultimately they have to tell that story, and they have to lead, and this is me being, sort of selfish, but I think they have to lead with accounting. They have to lead with where the rubber meets the road.
Well, and look, one of their history is deep. Look, let's put it this way. What's the job everyone wanted in the 90s? Oracle DBA.
Yeah,
right? That was it.
exactly.
I mean,
right.
I ran an Oracle, I ran a company, I ran a
Right.
series of practices,
Right.
of which one of them was 150 Oracle DBA.
Right.
Right? And believe me, back then we weren't paying anywhere near what a DBA would make now, but we were still paying pretty well.
That's right.
And it was a job that, if you went to PeopleSoft ERP, we still needed those Oracle DBAs.
right.
So
That's
to
right.
your point, down and dirty, right at the level of the ground, man.
Yeah.
Sitting on it.
Yeah, and then and what you get there is that that's where these higher level concepts like resiliency and agility, that's where they start.
Yeah.
Take it from a guy with a bad knee. It's all about your foundation, right? It's all about your footwork. You can't throw the ball, accurately if you don't have your foundation
take my
together,
word.
right?
Totally get that.
So it's a similar sort of thing. It's where the rubber meets the road, is where they have to show all the investment that they've done. And I've been talking with some of the product leadership. They've done massive amounts of investment in that sort of core accounting space. And I just think they need to tell that story a lot better.
Okay, now I got one last question for
Sure.
you. Who are one or two of your favorite people at Oracle? Just who are they and why are they your favorites? Again, they don't have to be your only ones. I don't
Sure.
want to diminish the rest of them. But one or two you just you're really happy when you see them?
Yeah. Kim Jacobson.
Okay.
She's our AR person.
Okay.
And
why? What is it about her?
So she's really good at her job. That's first.
Okay.
But she's also one of the people that is so positive about sort of her company. She's excited about her product and where they're going with it. So in my mind, she's a great ambassador for it. So not only does she do a good job herding the cats, when it comes to analyst relations, right?
A lot of
but
that.
she actually, sort of, strongly believes in the direction of the company. So that's
One more.
So I've had a chance to speak with Steve Miranda. And I find that he's very sort of relatable.
Yes.
He's somebody that can take very complex, sort of topics and break them down and show you how Oracle is, sort of positioned in some of these very intricate areas. I think he's one of the best, sort of product leaders in the game right now.
I absolutely agree with you on that. I don't know Kim Jacobson, but we have for the independent
everybody has their own
we have
AR
a different
person.
Kim.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Kim Guillen, who we've already sat and praised.
Yeah. Now, honorable mention,
Okay.
Rondi Ng,
Okay.
because Rondi has the job of, sitting on top of the massive application space or ERP space,
Okay.
and sort of shaping and molding the ecosystem and the product direction for ERP. And I really feel that the ERP itself for Oracle has been an engine for innovation,
Yeah,
an
absolutely.
engine for growth.
Yes.
And cloud ERP is really pushing the whole company forward. So honorable mention for Rondi as well.
Well, thank you, sir. Look, I'm just meeting you, really. So
Yeah.
I met you briefly once, but you're a good man.
Yeah, and look,
You want to talk
I'm
about
also,
relatable? You do.
Listen, I'm also a Cowboy fan. So
I'm sorry for. I mean, I'm a Giants fan.
It's been rough.
Well, no, you weren't. This year, not bad. Cooper Rush. Well, he's not bad.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
Give it to him.
I do sort of, gain a lot of my patience from being a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Well,
It's been about 20 years.
I'm a New York Giants fan, so I mean, we won. Look, we did win a couple of Super Bowls not that long ago, but still a decade.
Yeah.
But we have been the worst team in the NFL until this year for the last
Giants
5
are
years.
killing it now, huh?
This is it's funny. At the beginning of the year, when the regime had turned over, all of us. I talked to lots of Giants fans, and all of us thought this may be good. We didn't think the Giants would be 5-1.
5-1.
But
wow.
And not only that, they're beating good teams.
Saquon Barkley still has his legs.
That's why I like it the most. I love that guy.
He still got his legs
and
moving.
He's a class act kid.
They're not in the cast.
No, and when he's good, he's great.
Special. Listen. He's on my fantasy team. This week 7, I'm trying to win. Saquon, if you're listening.
222 yards.
222 yards, 2 touchdowns. It sounds about right.
Yeah, okay, we're in. Okay, I will transmit the message. One of my good friends is a VP of Business Intelligence Analytics for the New York Giants.
Yeah.
So I will tell him, do the work, and guarantee Saquon 200. You're doing Business Intelligence Analytics, okay? Do the analytics, tell Saquon his game plan, and let him run.
Awesome. Hey,
all right, my
I
friend.
had fun.
I'm a hugger, so you
Hey, come on, bring it in. Bring it in. Hey, and good luck. Good luck with your Yankees tonight, right?
Yeah, let me show you this right now.
Oh no! What's
They
happening?
just scored. The Yankees just scored. Oh, wow.
What's the score?
Cool, 1-0 Yankees. It's only
There
second
we go.
inning.
1-0.
I think
lot of
you
fun.
are good luck, man.
Oh yeah.
In fact,
Oh
yeah.
Yep,
I was going to say, just sit until the game's over.
I'm
Yankees
not that
are up
good of luck.
1-0. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.